With us now, Democratic Congressman Subramanyam of Virginia. Congressman, I take it you have a different view of the Jeffrey Epstein matter than your colleague from New York.
Yeah, well, I guess the president speaks in his conspiracy theory because he made it a central component of his campaign last year that he would release the files. And then the FBI director and deputy director made it a central component of their pitch for the president. And part of the reason why they got their jobs, right? And then you've got others in the administration, who, like Pam Bondi, who said that they had the files, right? And it was on her desk, ready to be released. And so either someone's lying, they're all lying, or they're hiding something. But either way, you know, when Elon Musk tweeted about this, saying that, you know, the reason it hasn't been released is Trump is in the files. I just sent a simple letter to Pam Bondi asking her to release it and asking why does Elon Musk have special knowledge of this document, but the American people don't? And so I'd like to see some answers.
So you outlined the two ways of being here prior to yesterday. And the two ways of being prior to yesterday were that either they were fibbing, they were exaggerating before for political gain, and once in office say, well, actually, we were kidding. And then the other way is what many in the MAGA sphere say is true, which is it is a cover-up, that there is something there and they are covering it up. The president had a new idea over the weekend, and he said, actually, we are preventing fake news from being released, that the files were doctored by Democrats and that to protect them and to hurt other people. So we're not letting this stuff out because it's tainted. What do you say to that?
Imagine if Joe Biden or Barack Obama gave that excuse. What would Republicans say, right? I don't buy it at all. The reality is either they're lying or they're hiding something. Those are really the only two situations happening here. And if they want to quell some of the criticism and concerns, just release everything you've got and stop stonewalling people. I mean, I've never seen a president say, please start talking about something else.
Oh, I have. Oh, I have. Oh, I have seen many, many times presidents want people to start talking about something else. Okay. The Democratic Party took an L in the reconciliation process, but you guys never were going to have a voice in that. That was never going to be. The Republicans could do it on their own. But now it feels like a W for Democrats because you guys are able to go out and talk about Medicaid cuts and the disruptions to social services, temporary need to assist families, and SNAP, and all of that stuff, which many Democrats say is going to help in 2026 take back the House, put you in the majority. But are you concerned at all? You know, when I hear Republicans talk about the growth that is going to come out of this legislation, that the extension of the tax cuts will encourage stability in investment and other good things will happen and all of this stuff, do you have any concern that there is too much of one voice on this stuff?
You know, first of all, it's an L for the American people, the whole bill. I mean, you know, this is not something I want to be campaigning about because I wish we could keep Medicaid and preserve food benefits and food access. With that said, it's a really bad bill. It's historically unpopular. It's the largest cut to health benefits in American history, the largest cut to food assistance in American history, and increases the deficit by the debt by $5 trillion or more. Someone said $6 trillion, all for tax cuts to the very wealthy corporations who continue to offshore a lot of jobs. And so what we're actually going to see is not growth necessarily, but we're going to see a historic amount of people's premiums for healthcare go up, even if you're not on Medicaid. There's going to be so many other issues with this bill. And then locally in Virginia and in the DMV, I mean, there are so many things attacking federal workers. They even took our space shuttle, the Smithsonian, down to Texas as a handout to the Texas senators. I mean, there's so many bad things in this bill. And I think all we need to do is educate people about it and promise them that we will have our own beautiful bill that involves repealing this thing and actually expanding access to health care and not rescinding it to people who need it most.
But there are some things that have broad popular appeal. I take your point that the bill together is unpopular, and there are components of it like the Medicaid cuts that are very unpopular, but stuff like the carve-outs for taxes on tips and for older people, the extension of the tax rates, those things are popular, right?
Those were breadcrumbs, though. Let's be honest here. The taxes on tips and no taxes on tips, there's a cap on it of $25,000, and it's temporary. Same with the other popular provisions that they're talking about so much. Those were a drop in the bucket in this bill. What they could have done is made those things permanent. What they could have done is actually make more middle middle class tax cuts and more access to health care for people. That's what would have helped people. But instead, they spent $5 trillion of our debt in the future, plus the interest we'll pay on it, for tax cuts to the very wealthiest corporations who didn't need it.
Okay, shutdown drama beginneth. We have this time between now and September where a deal will have to be done. Democrats will have to be included, at least on the Senate side. But I hear Chuck Schumer and I hear some in your conference on the House side say, it's time to fight. It's time to dig in. And certainly there are a lot of loud progressive voices that say, it's time to stick it to these people. If we got to have a shutdown, let's have a shutdown. What do you say about a shutdown?
I say it's time to stand up for the American people. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. And I'm hearing from both sides that they're fed up with this administration and they want to see some changes, and not just in this administration, but even in the Democratic Party. And so, yes, absolutely, the time to fight was yesterday. And we need to continue to make sure that when we do have leverage, the few times we do have leverage, we have to use it. And we have to strike a hard bargain and not just fold in the last minute. And so I do think that we should fight.
But they're firing government workers, a lot of whom live in your district. They're firing, the Supreme Court just cleared the way for more firings. You have a shutdown. I feel like the folks who live in Loudoun County, the folks who are government workers, are not going to be happy about a shutdown. What do you tell them if these hard negotiations lead to a shutdown?
I've heard a lot from them. They're saying that they're shutting down the government anyway, and that what they're doing is undermining the entire federal workforce in ways where they want us to fight. And so that's the message I've gotten from my constituents on both sides of the aisle, and I think we need to continue to fight.
Okay. All right. If you were from Zula, Virginia, you would know him already. But if you don't, here he is, Congressman Subramanyam. We thank you very much.